Hey, this is your YouTube guru, Teddy P. Gray, and I'm coming to you today on this rainy day. And something interesting just happened, and I'm going to address it since wasn't sure exactly what I was going to do with my next video. Now, the thing is, I usually don't talk about these subjects, but it seems like they're coming my way, so I guess I'll bring them to light. Now, it's a YouTuber that I actually respect a lot, so for that reason, I won't mention that person's name in this video. But I likely may be in the wrong from the backlash that I'm getting. But, I figure, hey, what's the use? Why go ahead and just respond back and forth when I can just make a YouTube video about it? So the subject we're talking about today is sex. Yep, that's why, right? X-E-X. Now, this is something that people love to do but hate talking about. And if you haven't seen my past videos from the past, you know that I have no problem talking about taboo subjects. Why? Because I feel like things that you do, you should be able to talk about. Otherwise, you shouldn't do it. Now, most people don't know, but I do have a tattoo on my arm and it says, live life, love life, no regrets. And the biggest part of that tattoo is no regrets. Why? Because I have to remind myself on a daily basis that when I do things, I should not regret them. Now, if you don't know what regret means, it means to wish to take something back. There's nothing I have done in my life up until this point now I wish to take back. Yes, I've learned from it. Yes, I realized it probably wasn't the best thing to do when I could have done something better, but I do not regret doing it because otherwise I wouldn't have learned those lessons and I would not have progressed from it. So let's talk about sex, the word that no one likes to talk about. So the thing is that sex obviously was supposed to be left to a certain time and period in the world, but most people don't wait to that time and period of their life to have it. So when they do have it, they become something else. And what is that thing that you become? You become a non-virgin. So before that, you were a virgin. So if you are not having sex and never have to have sex, you will be a virgin. But if you have had sex, you are no longer a virgin. Now that's the biggest part about having sex. It's because you lose that title of being a virgin. Now, if you haven't figured out exactly what's going on right now, I asked that question to a person, a YouTuber, on their Instagram in a direct message. Now, let's get this understanding. When I asked the question, it was not to demean, or it has no other purpose but wondering if you were or you wasn't. And why? Because of what we're talking about now. Because if in fact you are, then the questions after wouldn't make any sense because we know what a virgin means. But if you are not, then the questions afterwards would make sense. Now, I know that you would probably think that I'm going to ask questions pertaining to sex after that, but it wouldn't be actually because this person I spoke about actually said that they are a person of God. And if you haven't watched my past videos, I have just made it public that I am proclaiming the Lord 100%. So obviously I will be looking for someone of the Christian faith also. I wouldn't say Christian, that's why I kind of hesitate because I want to make sure people don't confuse me with people who aren't really in line with what I believe. But I would be interested in having conversation with people who also see themselves as Christians or believers of the Lord. So for me to ask that question would see where we will move on with that subject and issue and discussion of the Lord pertaining to sex and which way I would go with it. But maybe she's right. Maybe I was wrong about going about it because I didn't introduce myself. Now I have to tell you that I have you on several platforms, mainly on YouTube, but also on Instagram. And I'm not sure if it was YouTube or if it was Instagram or when, but me and you have spoken before, and you said that I didn't introduce myself. Now, when I did a direct message, I did not look to see if we had a past conversation. And sometimes some of my conversations aren't there anymore. Maybe I deleted them. Maybe you deleted them. But when I go in there and I know I've directed messaged someone once before, I don't see it anymore. So maybe it was Instagram who deleted it. I don't know. So when I went in there, I didn't even check to see if we did spoke before, because in my mind we had spoken before. And by the way, we have communicated before. But I doubt that this video will get to you. And then if it does, I just want to let you know that. Now, since we got that out of the way, I think that it was rude for me to have you screenshot something I said to you in a direct message and didn't ask you in public, but in private, and have you go and screenshot it and post it in front of everybody else, and have them come to my page and start asking me questions about something I said to you in private. Now that I think is rude, but I'm not. I'm above all of that, and I have no problem apologizing to you and say to you that yes, I am sorry, and I should not have went that way. And like I said, I don't regret anything. I learn from what I do. So maybe I won't ask that question to a person anymore. Because see, the thing is, from what you answered, the way you answered, I feel like you're not a virgin. So you kind of answered my questions because your response. The reason I said that because I'm following several other people here on the same platform who are those of the faith, and they have no problem talking about sex because guess what? They are virgins. Now that's what I want to get to today. Why is it that people don't want to talk about issues or things when they do it? So if you smoke weed, you should have no problem talking about smoking weed. And most weed smokers don't have problems. Even though it's a controversial subject, they don't have a problem saying it. I used to smoke weed. Now I don't. But when I did, I talked about it. I used to drink. But now I don't. But when I did, I used to talk about it. So now let's talk about the thing, the taboo at hand. sex. Why is it that most people don't want to talk about sex, although most of you are having it? Now, I won't talk about sex in the manner of me having sex because I no longer have sex and I haven't had sex in quite a while. And that's why I haven't really talked about it. You have never heard me talk about it because it has not been in my life for quite a while. So it wasn't a topic of issue, of discussion. But I don't have a problem telling you that I am not a virgin. And I did have sex once before. And I no longer have sex now because I've given my life to the Lord 100%. So, now, let's talk about the subject. When you have sex, you are doing one or two things. And I think I mentioned this before on other platform, on this same platform or on my other page. Or maybe I haven't uploaded the video yet. But I think I'll do that now since to make sure everyone knows this is something I do talk about openly. So when you have sex, it doesn't mean that you're a bad person, or if you don't have sex, it doesn't mean that you're a good person. All it means that you have experienced something that you had not experienced prior to. So if in fact you have experienced sex, you lose something called your innocence. Just like if you murder someone or anything that is something a child would not have done, and now you've done, because now you have crossed over to this level and this place in your life of understanding something that you had not understood before. And now that's why I like to ask those type of questions, so I can know where are you on a mental level, on a personal level in your life. Because I got to tell you, I don't know about everybody else, but when it happened to me for the first time, it did make me become something different than I was before. Because now I know how it felt, and I wanted it again. But before that, I didn't really want it as much. I was tempted, but I didn't want it. I didn't desire it. So that's something that changes in your life. And this is a good subject discussion because it's something that happens to most of our life before we end our life. But that transition, most people don't like to talk about. It's like, oh, I'm just not having it. Oh, I'm having it now. But no one talks about in between that time that made you cross over. And I see it in young ladies. I've always seen it in young ladies, and the people act different. So that's why I wanted to know, because of the questioning, because of the claiming of being a person of the Lord, and to see the actions. I wasn't sure and it was a curiosity in my mind if it had happened because I didn't see the switch over, but I kind of seen a different understanding. Now, that person also said everyone always asks you that. Now, like I said, I follow you on YouTube and I follow you on Instagram. I just wonder why it was my question that you decided to screenshot and make public. Hmm. I don't know. I don't know because I've never seen the other guys that you said likes to ask you that questions um thing on public on Instagram. I've never seen that. But that's fine. That's fine. It's okay. I understand. Because you decided that I was the person who just put the straw that broke the camel's back. It's fine. It's fine. Now, let's move forward. With this, I would like to say for you out there who have not had sex yet, I think that you shouldn't have sex. I would advocate it not to have sex because of the fact that it's a beautiful thing, a wonderful thing that is saved for marriage, that you should save for marriage because of the simple fact that once you do it, you become connected with others. Now, I have to be honest with you guys, since like I said, I have no regrets. And this is not taboo to me because I won't do anything that I'm not going to talk about. So, if you guys want me to make a weed smoking video, I'll make a weed smoking video because I used to smoke weed. And I never had a problem with smoking weed. Neither would I say something bad about smoking it now, other than the fact that if you're for God, you should 100% be for Him, and that means you have to give away all those worldly things, including things that even you may not have a problem with. People on the outside who sees you and perceives you as a person of God would have a problem with. So just to represent Him on the fullest percent, you will make sure that you do everything as godly as possible. And I don't remember Yahshua was smoking any herbs, so I wouldn't do it either. Even though he did turn water into wine. He didn't drink it. He didn't partake, but he did do it. So that means it was no problem. But at the same time, I still advise people not to drink alcohol because you become drunken and then you lose your wits about yourself, and that's a great time for the devil to seep in and take control of your life and have you back away from the Lord again. So we should be seeking Him 100% every day, all day, and trying to be as much like Him as possible. Even though we know we can't be perfect, we should be trying to be as perfect as we possibly can. So that's my take on weed in the minor sense. And the same thing goes with sex. You should wait because those things does introduce other things into your life that you may or may not be ready for. But it's a commitment made between your body and the next person's body that is severed if you're not married, and that's the union you have. That's the union of marriage. Honestly, before this traditional state, marriage was literally a man and a woman coming together. There was no jumping of brooms. There was no ceremonies. All that stuff was developed over time. So you hear in Genesis, Adam and Eve getting together and say, and Adam knew Eve. It didn't say he married Eve and they had a ceremony. He knew her. But that was his wife. Obviously, we all know that. And they begat children together. So that's how things were back in the days because the union between sex was the union of one man and woman becoming one. And it says that you are one. You should leave your mother and father and cleave into your wife and to your husband. So these are things that I understand, but I thought a woman of God would also understand. And honestly, asking about being a virgin or not, I don't find it disrespectful at all. It's the same as, do you smoke weed? Have you smoked weed? Do you drink? Have you ever drunk? Are you sexually active? Have you ever had sex? See, that's easy for me to say because I don't have a problem with it because that's something I don't do or I've done, and when I did or didn't do it, I didn't have a problem with it then. So it's not like murder. Like if I killed someone and it was like, oh no, I killed someone. I don't want anyone to ever know that I killed someone. That's different. Like I wouldn't go to somebody. Have you ever murdered someone before? Are you murdering people now? That's something I would say would be something you shouldn't ask anyone. But to ask them a simple question as that, I would think in this day and age, with how loosely we are with everything else, that would be the least disrespectful question. And this is what I want to get into. Now, again, I'm saying a lot of things that haven't been Teddy P. Gray page, but I guess the Lord is telling me that I need to use this platform for other things. This is something I want to get into. Um, why so many other things accepted, but it's something as simple as sex is taboo. But we can go around and we can have Pride Day. We can have Pride Parade with homosexuals. We can we can have that. We can have transsexuals being having their own bathrooms. We can even come up with groups and acronyms B LGTBQ, whatever all that means. We can have all those things openly displayed, but when you go privately into somebody's inbox and ask them a simple question of being a virgin or not, it's it's depicted as disrespectful. Now this is where the world is going right now. This is where the world is going. It's headed right now where people are valuing things that are like honestly biblically is abominations, but it's not natural. It's unnatural for you to do. But when you talk about something natural, it becomes a problem. And this is big because I have also started this issue once before on Facebook, and I have a video about how I became viral, and I said I didn't tell in the video how I became viral, but in my video on this page I said that it's because I said something controversial, and it was about sex. It didn't have to do with being a virgin or not. Obviously, I think that's gonna make me go viral. But my Facebook blew up. It blew up because the simple fact that people don't want to talk about the things that they do. And I don't get it. I really don't get it. Now, if you talk about a teen having sex with a grown up, it's a problem. But if you talk about a teen having sex with a teen, it's less of a problem. I don't get that because the simple fact that that person is having sex. I never understood. Now I see if it was a child, like a kid, that's a totally different thing. But what's the difference between a person having sex with one person of one age, a person of that age, another age? They're having sex is what you should be worried about. But apparently, people don't want no one to know that they have sex. Why? I don't know. Maybe you're ashamed of it. I don't know. But why are you having sex if you're ashamed of doing it? That sounds like a personal problem and a personal issue. And I'll apologize again on behalf of your insecurities about your sexuality. If you had no, if you didn't, if you found it to be a problem, you should. It would have been easier for you to just tell me. I shouldn't have asked you that question, and I would honestly had apologized and said, you know what, I shouldn't have asked you that question because apparently that is something that is not supposed to be spoken upon because we don't talk about sex, and that's just rude. So I guess I won't tell. I guess people should stop saying they have to go to the restroom. 'Cause that's a taboo subject. We don't talk about going to the restroom. We don't. We shouldn't burp. We shouldn't fart either. Because we don't talk about those things. Although we all do it, we don't supposed to talk about it. But it's okay to wear half naked, to be half naked in public, wear leggings that shows your vagina. It's okay to wear skirts and dresses and see-through tops, and you can see nipples. It's okay to have Free to Nipple Day. It's okay to you know show your genitals, and because you don't wear any underwear, and you like to get on escalators and go up and sit with your legs open. All of these things are okay. That's okay to do. It's okay to take pictures and of your period and display. It's okay to show birth, it's okay to show a woman having birth because it's a baby coming out, even though you can see her genitals on on social media. All of these things are okay, but it's disrespectful to talk, to simply ask if a person had once had sex, because that's what it means. If you're not a virgin, it's just you could have once in your life had sex and you're no longer a virgin. Or if you are a virgin, then that means that you never had sex. Now, if you go on, I'm so sorry, I can't remember her name, but I am following her. She's a black woman. I think she's married now, or she's about to be married. And she was talking about why she waited to marriage before she had sex. So that means she was a virgin. She talks about it. Um, what her name is? Kirby is the boss. She talks about it because she's a virgin. Um, and it's another person I can't remember, but they have no problem talking about these subjects because of the simple fact that they're virgins. So I'm guessing if you lose your virginity, it becomes a taboo subject to talk about it because you are ashamed. I don't know. I don't know what happened there, but I personally am not ashamed. I tell you, I waited a long time before I had sex, and I was pretty drunk the night I finally lost my virginity. And I honestly wasn't the initiator of that either. But I don't have it anymore, so I'm not ashamed, you know. And we did what we did, and now we find ourselves back to where we are. So maybe you're still struggling with being non-promiscuous, or because I'm sure you said that you never had a boyfriend in your life, so maybe that's why. Because if you was to tell me you did have sex, it would mean that you had sex with a non-boyfriend. I don't know, because you told me that yourself. But and also having boyfriends or girlfriend really doesn't mean anything because it's not a commitment. It really isn't a commitment. I know so many men and women who break up left and right and get back together, and it's just because you're not saying, "Hey, I'm gonna be with you for life." You're not committing to that person. Not a godly commitment, at least, as marriage is supposed to be. But even that's not even. It's not taken in high esteem that it used to be. But anyway, I don't really talk about this, but I see that the Teddy P. Gray page is starting to shift onto things outside of my normality of my page, my a channel that it used to be in the past. So, whatever. So for all of you guys who watching me, and I know it's a few of you watching me, um, who follow me, or even if you just so happen to see this video, I really honestly would like to know the truth. Do you feel like I was wrong for going into someone's inbox on Instagram and asking them, um, are they a virgin or not? And also, I thought we had our established, but we didn't. Apparently, was I wrong for not introducing myself before I asked that question? Now I'm not gonna lie to you. I was pretty anxious about it. Cause as soon as the thought popped in my head, I asked her. I directly messaged her like, "Hey, I'm so curious. Are you a virgin?" Now that was kind of kind of kind of too fast. Now I'm not gonna lie about that. So I even say maybe I should have introduced myself. It may establish rapport, but it was kind of really quickly. But the question itself: do you think that I was being disrespectful for asking a person that? Is that something that is disrespectful, or is it just not really disrespectful, but it's just something you don't ask somebody? It's a taboo thing. What do you think about it? And again, guys, I'm saying this publicly because, you know, I will apologize in public. I will privately ask you those type of questions, but I have no problem publicly apologizing to anyone that took offense to something I said, because anything I say and do, I don't mean it to make anybody take offense. I mean it because I feel like it's in truth, and or it's an innocent act of inquiry, or because I love the word. I really love you all, and I wish for everybody to do well and live a great life. So, if it's something that is in my mind and I feel as if I should um, acknowledge it or address it or discuss it, I will. I don't have a problem with it because then it's just gonna go ahead and linger in my mind forever. And if you don't want me talking about it, just simply say, I don't want to talk about that right now, and I'll lay off. But anyway, this has been a very interesting subject to come up with, and I have other videos that I haven't uploaded yet because I have a lot of videos that I'm editing and I'm putting them together, and some of the things I don't want to put up as a whole video because it's going to be even attached to another video, or it's going to be edited down small. So I don't really have I haven't posted those videos yet, and some of them don't go on this page either. They go on my other page. It's depending on the subject. Like I say, a lot Teddy P Gray is more of the creative page. This is why I initially came on here, watching all you guys being creative, being artists, and being growing. And I kind of want to emulate that same understanding. But if we have to talk about issues of this magnitude to make people pay attention, then I don't have a problem with that either. So, hey, we'll see what this page has. And I have so much from last year that I want to put out there that I'm not really able to work on because I'm working right now and I'm learning and it's training time. So I don't have time to really focus on that as much. So it's gonna be a while before it gets done. But I'm kind of shying away from making these new videos because of that reason. Now, I also am working on my language. I have made language videos also. My Spanish part 1 and 2. That's another video that I'm editing down. I want to add the subtitles within the video so that you don't have to worry about Google translating. YouTube translating it, and they're actually going to say what I'm saying and what I meant to say. Because a lot of it is not what I meant to say. It's not what I mean, because my Spanish still needs a lot of work. And like I said, a lot that I don't speak it as well as I understand it. And I can read and write it because I don't pronunciate as well. And speaking is like a live thing, so I don't have time to think as fast as much as I have when I'm writing. I can think about it, and when I'm reading, the words are already there for me to understand. And when people speak it back to me, I comprehend it because they're saying it and I already have the words there. I just have to translate the words, which is not a problem. But coming up with the words is why I sometimes have a problem remembering what the word is. But the same thing goes with English too. Is sometimes we use words that is not commonly used, and then when we have to use that particular word, we know the meaning and we can't remember exactly what that word is that means exactly what we're trying to say. So we find ourselves sometimes in our native language stumbling to say the word that means exactly what we're trying to convey. And the same thing goes with Spanish, and even more so when you don't use that language as often. So anyhow, I'm so happy you guys stayed with me because these videos are becoming longer and longer. I had to talk more than I know I can. So anyway, this is your YouTube guru, Teddy P Gray, and remember, be peace. I'm out.